Welcome to the Hashtag Attitude Shield podcast, the true mental operating script rewriting program designed for those looking for a change from within. No more hype or sugar-coated promises. This is to-the-point guidance on how to change the way we think to grab the life we always wanted. Are you ready for the change? Now your host, David L. Parker.
Hey, welcome to the next episode, the next training session, if you will. The next time we're going to hang out together of Hashtag Attitude Shield. I am David L. Parker, and it's a beautiful morning. The sun is coming up right over my right shoulder over Sturgis, over the Great Plains of the United States, and the light is slamming into the Black Hills, and it just makes me want to steal something from the late, great Robin Williams and say, "Good morning, Attitude Shield." Yes, I wake up excited every freaking day. It's just who I am. I wake up excited because I am not a salmon. I'm not a crab in a bucket, which we're going to talk about crabs in buckets today. Let me tell you what. I love waking up. It's another great day. It's another opportunity. It's another chance to impact some people. And I'm starting my new business venture this morning. And believe it or not, I am recording this the day of its release. It is 5:20 in the morning here in the Black Hills of South Dakota, and it's beautiful. The sky is blue. My eyes are blue. Everything else is, ready to go. So it is going to be an amazing day. Look, I don't know if I ever shared this with you before, but I love reading, especially psychology things. Love it. I am, part of my degree is industrial organizational psychology. The things I'm doing because I love to understand how people think, how people tick. On top of what I've learned through Hashtag Attitude Shield development over the years, through having that rhino skin, as I used to say back in my Periscope days. I love everything that has to do with the human mind and how things work, which always leads me to one of my favorite stories, my favorite way to look at life, to look at my life, to look at your life, to look at the life of people. And I call it the crabs in a bucket. See, believe it or not, we are susceptible to each other. What other people do has an impact on us, a strange and amazing impact on us. And most people, especially those who don't have a good attitude shield, are very pliable when it comes to other people. They're very influenced. They will actually lie to get along with other people, to go along with the crowd, even when they know, and I mean they know, that what they're saying isn't true. But people are actually so easily manipulated that they will think that they're wrong. So they'll go with what other people are saying just not to appear wrong. And that's what the rewriting the operating script is all about. See, your operating script is going to tell you what you do, how you do it, when you do it. You got to have principles. You have baseline knowledge. You got to have some things that say it doesn't matter what the crowd says. This is what I believe. And this is what I'm going to do. And this is how it's going to get done. Believe it or not, it's an amazing thing. And I've done this. I've done the first part, and I've studied the second part. And by studying it, I've watched people in groups. Now, the first part is, you ever been standing around in a group and just decided to, I have, you're standing around in a group, okay, and you decide to pull out your cell phone. When you pull out your cell phone and you look at it, like this, right? You're just standing there, and so you pull out your cell phone, and you look at it. And then you put your cell phone down. Now, it doesn't beep. It doesn't vibrate. It doesn't do anything that'll tell the other people in the room that, to check your cell phone. So you check the cell phone, and you wait a couple minutes. Within moments sometimes, but within a very short period of time. Majority of the people around you will pull out their phones and check them. They didn't get a beep. They didn't get a vibrate. They just did because you did. They don't even know it. It's so unconscious that it just happens. And I've always found that amazing. I myself have fallen for this little thing. We were When I was coaching football, my first year in 2000, I was coaching football and won ourselves a nice little piece of jewelry. Anyway, we're practicing near the softball field. And every time somebody hits a ball, one of my players would go, whoa, like a ball was coming. And the whole group of guys would turn to look. They would, self-protective, look, whoa, what happened? Wait, what, is there a ball coming? Right? And I was watching that because some of them wouldn't even look to see if there was a ball. They just did it because the other one did it. Now, I found something very amazing. I found something incredibly amazing. Amazing. Hey, if you find this show amazing, why don't you do me a favor, support the show, giving you a call to action. Go ahead and hit the link down below in the description of the video or the podcast and buy me a cup of coffee. Help support the show by showing your love, showing that you go with what we need to do and help impact other people. And if do that, also share it on your social media, put it on your Facebook, your Twitter, whatever you're using, your Instagram, your LinkedIn, share it with other people. That's how we build this group, big and tall, big and proud, big and rolling around. Because if we can do that together, we can really grow Attitude Shield big. Anywho, so this experiment was conducted. And I've watched the video. Now, it's in all black and it's barely color, if you will. But I've watched the video, and then yesterday I reread the paper because it's so impactful. It tells so much truth about us human beings. So this professor wanted to see if peer pressure was true. If he could prove peer pressure, if he could absolutely prove that people will give in to peer pressure, and I mean give in. So he put together this experiment where people were invited to come and look at some lines. So imagine, if you will, a room, like a small classroom. And there's this guy up front, and he has these boards, and these boards have these pictures of lines. Now, there's one line on the left of the page, and it's a certain length. And then there's three lines on the right of the page that are three different lengths, except one of the ones on the right matches the one on the left. Now, there's 5 people in the room. They're all sitting together. And the last one comes in. The last one who comes in is actually the one that's being experimented on. He doesn't know it. She doesn't know it. And they sit down, and everybody else in the room is in on the experiment. So the first couple of times when the professor, says which line matches, the people in the room all tell the truth. They all agree. So if the line on the right is 2 inches long, and then the line on the left, the first one, number 1, is 1 inch long, and number 2 is 4 inches long, and number 3 is 2 inches long to match the one on the left. I'm trying to paint a picture for you. Then everybody would say, well, which one matches it? Well, number 3, number 3, number 3, number 3. The first couple they do is exactly like that, where the people who are in on the experiment actually tell the truth. All right? They do not lie. Next thing that happened is that the group starts to lie. So if the line on the left actually matches line number 1 on the right, as it goes around the room, starting now, the person who's the experiment is like 4th in line, 5th in line. They're not in the middle. They're not first. So the guy says, okay, which line matches? And the first person says line 1, even though 2 is the matcher. And the next one says 1, and even though 2 is the matcher, and 3 doesn't. And then when they get to the person who's actually the experiment, he or she is looking at the other people like, what? And says 1. They doubt their own reality. It's normal. This is amazing to me. And this is why Attitude Shield is so important, because the operating script would say line number 2 is right, and I'm going to say number 2, and I don't give a shit what these other people say. I don't care what they think what the reality is. I see mine, and I'm speaking it. Did you know that 40%-ish of the people in that experiment went against their own judgment and followed the people who are lying? 40%. 40%. Now you say to yourself, well, 40% ain't that bad of a deal. Yes, it is. It absolutely positively is, without a question. 4 out of 10 people don't have the ability to think for themselves in that experiment. Now, I can get, you can get, we can get 6 out of 10, 7 out of 10 to pick up the phone. You can. You absolutely can. I've done it over and over again. You can go stand I did this in a casino here in my good friend Tia works in one of the casinos as a food and beverage manager, and I was standing in the casino, and I was just staring at the ceiling, literally looking up at the ceiling in the casino, checking something out. But I was actually watching the people around me. Within a few moments, 2 people were looking. Within another few moments, one of the managers came over and was looking, and then after he looked for a little bit, he asked me what I was looking at. You ever done something like that? You see, it's very important that we know that this happens. It's very important to understand that human beings are, we're fallible people. We're being a human, having opposing thumbs gives us an advantage, but we're different than the rest of the animal kingdom. And the number one difference, other than opposing thumbs, is that we have the ability to create. We made tools, we made the wheel, we build houses, we build airplanes, we have technology. We have this amazing brain of ours that helps us create things. Dolphins don't create much, right? Even the chimpanzees ain't exactly building houses yet. But even though we have the ability to create, we also have the ability to have for self-doubt, amazing amount of self-doubt. And if the people around us are pulling us down, if we're surrounded by crabs in a bucket, it's going to be a bad life because you're going to be still. Somebody tricked into lousy life. Somebody tricked into a loser lifestyle. Still, the acronym. You don't want to be around people who are still making excuses, still blaming other people, still not taking responsibility for themselves, still not dreaming, still not acting, still not moving forward, sitting still on the couch. Netflix bingers are crabs in a bucket. Okay, what the hell is a crab in a bucket? When I was first told this story about 30 years ago, I didn't believe it. Nope. I was like, what a bunch of bullshit. So I went out and did it. I absolutely positively went out and did it personally myself. And I was astounded at what I saw. I was amazed at what I saw. I was shocked at what I saw. And what I saw was simple. I took a bucket and I'm walking down a beach on the Northeast, a part of our country, and I was able to grab crabs that are walking along the beach and drop them into a bucket. Well, to my astoundment, none of them tried to crawl out. Well, at first, the bucket was too deep. They couldn't reach the top of the bucket and pull themselves out. But after a little while, after a good amount of while, I had a lot of crabs. To the top of the bucket where they could grab the top of the bucket and pull themselves out, lift themselves out of the problem. They didn't. Not one crab escaped, and I got to where I had more crabs in the bucket than I had bucket. And not one got away. Not one. Did you hear me? Not one stinking crab got away. Now, why is that? None of the crabs wanted a better life. None of the crabs wanted to climb out of the bucket. None of the crab. No. The people around them, the crabs below them, would grab the crab above them and pull them back down in this clinging manner. So in nature, it showed that. You ever been on a fisherman's wharf and seen a cage full of crab with an open thing on top, open hole on top? They don't get out. Now, I'm not calling people crabs, but I am telling you, people can be a lot like crabs. People can hold you back. Think about the experiment I just told you about, the documented experiment. I watched these people go against their own better judgment to be around a crowd and pick the wrong line on the paper. Watched them do it. Watched them. You don't think that's like crabs in a bucket? You don't think that's people? You have to have an operating script. Here's the bluff, bottom line up front. You have got to have an operating script that's powerful. You have got to have the ability to think for yourself. It seems like a simple statement, think for yourself, doesn't it? It seems like, duh, who doesn't think for themselves? Well, in a controlled environment, 40%. In an uncontrolled environment, 90%. 90%. I had another situation just Saturday night this past week in the bar that I run. I was discussing changing a policy, changing how we did something, changing how we do something, heavily discussing it. And one of my team members was against it, 4,000% against it, was adamantly and with almost venom coming out of her mouth against it. I'm not going to talk about what it was, but my other two team members went along, and I was watching, and I was like, wait, this doesn't seem right. Well, yesterday, Sunday, when we opened up the first day on Sunday for the season up here, one of those two that was there the night before, that went along with the other one because he was so adamant about it. No, this is not happening. That now she was alone and no longer falling due to peer pressure, no longer falling victim to her attitude shield, her operating script. She no longer wasn't having to figure out how to run one full-grown person. That she went to me and she was in complete disagreement with the other person. I've done this many times where I bring up a policy change for a company that I run or manage or advising, and somebody or some buddies is all against it, and a larger group is actually for it, but nobody in the larger group is saying anything, and the smaller group is loud, so the larger group doesn't say anything because they're like questioning themselves. Am I wrong? Is my opinion wrong? Am what I'm thinking not right? No. And that's the attitude shield. That's the operating script right there. That's what's going on in our world, is the small people, the smaller group of people, the smaller sections of life are yelling the loudest, and the larger sections are going, well, maybe I'm wrong, or just not willing, to engage because they don't stand on any principles. They don't really truly have anything they're 100% believed in. And because this person's yelling, and because that person is calling people names, and because this person is like, oh, if you don't agree with me, then you're this, and the other thing, you're an ist. What's an ist? Well, you just add the first part, racist, misogynist, whatever ist it is, you're an ist. Because they're crabs in the damn bucket. And they don't want anybody getting out. Because the silent majority needs to stop agreeing when the other group of people is wrong about how long the line is. We, as attitude shielders, need to stop agreeing and following and participating with people who are just beeped up in their head. Listen, it's ingrained into us to survive. It's ingrained into us to protect ourselves, to not expose ourselves. But you're not in danger when you speak your own opinion. You're not in danger when you refuse to agree with other people who are wrong. You're not in danger when you stand on your own principles. Yes, you may get called names. Yes, somebody may disagree with you. They may even give you an ist title. We'll give them the so what, who cares title. The SWAC. So what? Who cares? I don't care. Do you care? You can't decide just because everybody else says line number one is right when it's wrong to say line number one, or you got a bad operating script, and that's why you're struggling. Stand on your own 2 feet. Make your decisions based on what you want to decide on, based on what you want to do, based on whom you are. Have a strong attitude shield. Put it on that arm. Block the negativity. Block this crap. Block this, oh, everybody says that the color is red, but I see blue, but I'm going to say red. Start pulling out your hammer and smashing the crabs below you to get the frack out of that bucket. Go get the life you want to get. Stop falling victim. Turn off the news. Stop listening to things. Stop playing the victim. You have to be the hero in your life. You can't be the victim. Every one of us could lay down and say, I've just really had enough. I'm not can't do it anymore. For what purpose? To give up and lay down and die? No, you're supposed to stand up, walk, and live. But you're supposed to act like you're alive. You're supposed to be energetic. You're supposed to be bold. You got 75,000 thoughts a day going through your head, but you got to control them. You got to tell them what to speak in this brain right here. Tell this thing what to think. Tell this thing what to say, so it'll come out your mouth and you'll impact people every single day. If what you say is something you can stand on, you'll impact people. That's what we're all about. We are designed to be connected. We are designed to be in groups. We are designed to influence each other. But you can't influence people if you're giving in to the bullshit that other people give into. So keep that attitude shiny. Keep it up. Rewrite this operating script. Stand on what you stand for, because you are a unique, beautiful, amazing, beautiful, unique person, and I can't wait to meet you. See you later.
You've been listening to Attitude Shield, your double dose of espresso for your attitude. Check us out on Facebook and on the web at www.attitudeshield.com. Again, thanks for spending this time with us. Between now and when we talk again, keep those shields up, eyes on the target, and always be moving towards your dreams.